Hey everyone, it's Rita, welcome back. So today we're gonna be doing, as you can probably tell, something different. I want to do a makeup collection, but I want to break it down in kind of like different categories, only because I feel like a full collection would take me a very long time. And it's not like my makeup collection is too big, but still I don't want to make this video too long. So anyway, this is one of my drawers. This is going to be part of my makeup furniture set. It's just going to be a little dresser that has three drawers that in reality, as you can probably tell, things are getting a little too crowded. So we are going to be talking today about my bronzers, blushes, and highlights. It's kind of like a little too crowded already. I am picking up a new piece of furniture for my makeup collection around October. It's from Anthropology, and I'm waiting so long because it's not available at the moment. So anyway, I have to work with what I have for now because it's still gonna be 2 or 3 months before I can get that piece. And as you can tell, it's all over the place and I do not feel comfortable. So we're gonna do a little collection and I'll show you everything I have, and along the way we'll probably do a couple of declutters here and there, nothing major, because in reality I don't ever do big declutters just because I really do have a smaller collection and I love pretty much everything that I own. All of my bronzers, and I believe I only have 2 more that are either part of a palette or are a duo with a blush that I'll show you in a bit. But anyway, we are working with all of these bronzers, and as you can probably tell, it's a relatively small collection compared to other people, especially here on YouTube, but it is definitely way more than I need. Of course, no one could ever go through so many of these bronzers. I do have a lot of them that are favorites, so I'll talk about that. And I'm gonna begin with the ones that I'm gonna get rid of because for sure I can already see one that straight up I know I cannot keep any longer. This one is gonna be one of the Physicians Formula, the Bronze Booster. So I feel like Physicians Formula got very famous with their bronzers, especially. They're kind of like the kings of bronzers in the drugstore. So this one is the Bronze Booster. It's just light to medium, so that's the issue with this bronzer. It is way too light for my complexion. I mean, I could make it work, but honestly, I have no need for it to be in my collection anymore. It's just very light. And you can tell, I mean, it's still like a beautiful bronzer, but on my skin tone, I mean, it's right there. You can barely see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on. I feel like it's probably already at this point a little old for me to even pass it on, so I think this is just going to get thrown in the trash just because it is very old. It's probably one of my oldest bronzers that I own. Since we already decluttered one of them, I think we should probably just move forward with the decluttering part first, and then I'll just show you my favorites and of course everything else that's going to be staying in my collection. So the first one that I see here that also should be decluttered is going to be this Rimmel one. It's called the Natural Bronzer, and this one is the shade 022, the Sun Bronze. I remembered loving this bronzer way back, but I mean, it's just getting old. I've had it for a long time. It's from the drugstore, so very affordable. I could very easily just repurchase. It is very soft to the touch. I must say that. It looks very pretty. So here we have the swatch. So it's a little bit lighter for my complexion. I could definitely make it work, but honestly, with so many bronzers, why am I trying to make it work with one that's too old to begin with? So I'm gonna be getting rid of this one as well. For my next declutter, we're gonna be getting rid of this e.l.f. Warm Bronzer. I don't even know if they still make this. It is that old. I had this bronzer, I want to say, for at this point 6 or 7 years. That's really gross to begin with. It was whenever e.l.f. was kind of like doing a lot of this packaging similar to NARS, as you can probably tell. But I mean, it is a very pretty bronzer. The reality is that I barely ever used it, so you can tell it's a very pretty one of those swirl around and then you get the shade. And let me swatch it real quick. So I had already swatched a little bit, so that's what it looks like. Here's the Rimmel, and then here's this e.l.f. one. It's a very shimmering one, and it almost looks like yellowy on my skin tone, like more golden than, you know, really a bronzer. But anyway, this is very old. I want to say, like I mentioned, 6 or 7 years, if not more. So it's definitely time for this to go, and this is gonna go to the trash because no one can really use this anymore. Probably very unhygienic to someone for me to pass this along. So anyway, getting rid of another one. So here we have 3 that we're already decluttering. Another one that I'm going to be decluttering from Physicians Formula. Again, Physicians Formula was known for their beautiful bronzer from the drugstore. And first off, packaging is so beautiful. I remember I bought this, I want to say again, another like 8 or 9 years ago. It's very, very old, and I did use this one quite a lot. And as you can tell, there's the swatch right there. And let me just swatch it right here. That's gonna be also barely noticeable on my skin. It's kind of like more of like those shimmering bronzers. I used to love it so much, but honestly, I have so many that I really do not need an extra one. And something being this old really should just be thrown in the trash. So anyway, getting rid of this one as well. So we are down to having decluttered already 4 of them, and honestly, from the ones that I have left, I don't see anything that I would want to declutter. Everything else seems that it's going to be products that I absolutely love. So anyway, for my very first and probably only more contouring product is going to be this one by The Balm in the shade Bahama Mama. And I love this. I really don't contour my face as much anymore, but whenever I do, I love this product. I really like it. It's really getting old to this point, but you can tell it's like very pretty, kind of like more cooler tone. I'm gonna swatch it real quick right here. I don't think that swatch was very good. It is getting old, I'm not gonna lie. So this is gonna be something that I would definitely see myself repurchasing at some point. Not right now, because I still have this one, and for the little amount of times that I contour, I think this is gonna be okay. I do spray my products with alcohol from time to time, just to kind of like keep them you know, for longer periods of time. So anyway, I really love this product, and as it is the only contour product that I have, I'm definitely gonna be keeping it. Speaking of contouring, I do have this Sephora palette, the Contouring 101 Face Palette. This is huge. Just compare it with, let's say, another bronzer. As you can tell, it's very, very big. This is the only other product that I have for contouring. I know I just said that the Bahama Mama was the only one, but I also do have this one. And this is a very beautiful product. Like in general, I remember loving this one, specifically this one for contouring, and then this one for more of a bronzy look. I barely used these two kind of like highlighting shades, but for this two, it is definitely worth it. And then here we have a darker bronzer that I barely ever used, but these two I did use quite some, and I still really like this palette, so I'm gonna be keeping it, especially because, again, I don't have a lot of contouring products. This is literally the only two that I have for contouring, so I'm gonna be keeping both of those. I always love to use a matte bronzer and then a more shimmering. So anyway, I have the rest that are going to be matte are, of course, my beloved Charlotte Tilbury, that this one is pretty new, and I have mine in the shade 2, so the medium one. I feel like I could definitely use a darker shade, but for now I have this one, and at some point I see definitely myself purchasing the refill of the number 3, but I absolutely love this one. So I'm just going to show you real quick the matte ones that I have. So the Too Faced, I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago on YouTube, everyone loved and raved about these Too Faced bronzers. It was kind of like how Physicians Formula was super popular on the drugstore for bronzers. Too Faced was, of course, the more higher end version of everyone loving them. So this one is still in this old packaging, as you can tell. This is the new packaging. So this one is the matte version of the Chocolate Soleil, and I really love it. It's the only one that I have a big pan on of my bronzers. I used to use this every single day, and I still love it, so definitely keeping. Then, to finish up with my kind of like only bronzers that are matte, we have, of course, the very famous Hoola by Benefit. A beautiful, more warmer bronzer. I feel like I could actually get away with using this both as kind of like a light contour and as a bronzer. Definitely love it, and this one is relatively new in my collection. It was part of a present my grandma gave me a couple of Christmas ago, so definitely keeping this. The ever so famous Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This packaging broke, and I really hate that it did, because I love this bronzer. First off, it smells delicious like coconut, but it's a beautiful bronzer. I've got mine in the only shade that was available at the time. So this one is the shade Muru, I believe, or just a color called the bronzer. It was the only shade for some time. I believe that they now have newer shades. I'm gonna keep it for now. At some point I will see myself repurchasing this, because it is a beautiful bronzer, and again, I don't have a lot of products from the drugstore. It's kind of like right there, but you can barely see it. But definitely keeping that. So for the last sort of like more matte one, we have this duo by Cover FX that I absolutely love. This one is in the shade Sun Kissed Bronze, and this one is like has the two-in-one, so the matte one and the shimmering. Every time I use bronzer, I always go for a matte and a shimmering, so I love that this product has two-in-one. Both of them are beautiful, stunning bronzers. I definitely see myself purchasing more of this if they are still available, because I believe they also have blushes in this same kind of like formats, and I absolutely love them. So anyway, the Cover FX one is going to be the last kind of like bronzer that is matte, and then the rest that I have are going to be more luminous, and then we'll move forward with the cream ones. Just to speed things up, we have a baby one here from NARS, Laguna, which is of course one of the most popular, I feel like, bronzers from in general. Back in the day, also in YouTube, this was super raved. So I have here a little baby one, and I really like it. I actually see myself purchasing the full size once this is done, because I do love it. So moving on with my only two shimmering bronzers from the drugstore, we have this one by e.l.f. in the Baked bronzer. This one is in the shade Bora Bora. I don't even know if they still make it, but I absolutely love it, and it's never leaving my collection. I love this bronzer. It's such a beautiful one. And also one that's super pretty from the drugstore is going to be this one by Wet n Wild in the shade Palm Beach Ready. This is fairly new to my collection. I believe I got it last year, but it is a stunning, very shimmering golden bronzer. So it's just very, very pretty, and it's perfect for the summer. So definitely keeping it. So we have two from Too Faced. Of course, the Chocolate Soleil in the gold version. I love this bronzer. It's again one of those beautiful shimmering one, perfect for the summer. Definitely keeping. And probably my favorite Too Faced bronzer would be this one, the Baked one, in the shade Sweet Tea. This is also one that reminds me a lot of kind of like old YouTube, when everyone used to love this product and have it in literally every single makeup collection video. So anyway, it is very worth it. Like, it's very worth it. It's totally a beautiful shimmering bronzer with a, it's not like shimmer, it's like a beautiful luminous bronzer that will pair literally perfect, I feel like, in every skin tone. So definitely a good one. Up next, we have one that's already discontinued, or at least they don't sell it anymore at Ulta. This is from the brand Japanesque. First off, how beautiful is this packaging? This is a blush, but I remember when I went to buy it, I was in the hunt for a beautiful shimmering bronzer, and one of the girls at Ulta told me about this, and I absolutely fell in love. It's very beautiful, it's very compact, and of course the actual packaging is stunning. But the product itself is really beautiful, and I love it, and I would never get rid of it, especially because now you can't really find it anymore, I don't think. For my last shimmering bronzer, we have this newer one by Kosas. It is fairly new to my collection. This one is in the shade Medium, and it is a very beautiful, beautiful baked bronzer. It is very dark, as you can tell on the pen. It does come off very dark, and it does have a lot of kind of like, again, not really shimmer, but a lot of illuminescence to it. It's very, very stunning. Perfect for summer specifically. In general for everything, but it's a beautiful bronzy shade that will definitely give you that sun-kissed glow. To finish up with my bronzers, we have 5 cream ones. So let's start with Fenty, which is the ones that I have the duplicate in. So we have number 3 Macchiato and number 5 Teddy. This one is 5 Teddy, and this one is kind of like very illuminating bronzer. I absolutely love it. I love pairing both of these together. They're very easy to blend. They're very beautiful in tone. This one is a bit more, kind of like a more, not contour shade, but a bit more cooler tone. Love them both. The only thing is, I feel like this don't really last as much, especially on my skin. And the thing is, I have a very dry skin, so it's not even like it's because I'm oily. It's just, I feel like I don't get a lot of wear out of this. By the end of the day, I just feel like I don't have anything on my face anymore left of the bronzer. So anyway, that is one kind of like bad thing about them, but I already have them and I do enjoy using them. Okay, so then we have a very famous one by Milk, and this one is in the shade Baked. I feel like everyone and their mother loved this bronzer a little back in the day. It is very beautiful, very easy to blend and just kind of like draw in your face. It gives you a lot of time to work with, so I really do love this bronzer. So I do have another contour product that I kind of forgot about. This one is by Charlotte Tilbury, the Hollywood Contour Wand, and I've got mine in the shade 2. I believe there's going to be 3 or 4 different shades of this product, and it is very, very stunning. It's going to give you that very beautiful chiseled contour, but it's also kind of like surprisingly gives you a lot of illumination on your face. So I really, really love this product. Again, it's a newer one, but the times I've used it, I absolutely love it. And to finish up with probably the best note is going to be my beloved Chanel Soleil de Tan. So I've had this for quite some time. I want to say for 2 years, almost 3. Probably 2 years going on 3. This is a stunning bronzer. This is, of course, still the original one. They just reformulated not so long ago, and I haven't picked that one up. Because I love this one so much, I'm scared that the other one is going to be lighter, and I believe it's kind of like more matte. I love this product because you can very easily kind of like contour and bronze with the same one. And it's just such a beautiful color that it provides to your cheeks and your face. It's just, honestly, if I could pick one bronzer in my entire collection between powders and creams, I would definitely go for my Chanel. It's just the most stunning one out of all of the ones that I own. So look at this, guys. Everything just fit in my small acrylic box. I am very happy. Of course, the much bigger products were not going to fit, but I mean, that was going to be regardless of how much I decluttered. They're just too big for this acrylic box. But that makes me so happy that I know that pretty much all of them now live here, and I absolutely love every single one that I kept. So that makes me super happy. And then for the 4 that we decluttered is going to be all of them drugstore, which makes me realize that I probably need to hit the drugstore soon. Not that I really need to, because I have more than enough bronzers to last me like literally a lifetime. But we got rid of 2 from Physicians Formula, a Rimmel one, and my full highlight collection. As you can tell, it is pretty small. There are going to be a couple more items that are part of palettes, which I didn't want to put here. I'm just going to show you on the very end of the video my palettes have multiple like bronzer, highlight, and blush. But anyway, to me, honestly, highlight is going to be pretty much the same. I liked my highlighters to be either a light champagne or, you know, a champagne shade or a light gold. So that being said, I don't need that many highlighters because to me, they honestly all look the same. So anyway, I have a lot of these kind of like smaller sample sizes that I've gotten, you know, through the years. And then I do have only 3 full size, and then this beautiful newer Hourglass palette, or at least new to me. Let's just start with this one because I already picked it up. This one is the Hourglass, the Ambient Absolute Strobe Light palette. So this one has 3 different highlights in it. Again, honestly, this if I only had this palette, it would be more than sufficient for me to last me forever. This one is kind of like my favorite shade of highlight. But of course we have a more pinky and a more kind of like bronzy one. Still, I mean, you can see that, yes, they look slightly different. This one is more champagne, more gold. This one is kind of like more pinky silver. And of course the bronzer one. But I mean, look at how stunning these shades are. Why would I ever need anything else? So anyway, this one is absolutely stunning and I love it. Now that we got the beautiful palette from Hourglass out of the way, let's discuss some sample sizes that I've had. I do have 4 of them from Becca, which I feel like Becca is most known for their highlighters. And then we have 1 from this brand called Trestique, and then a Ciate. Again, all of these ones are smaller, kind of like sample sizes. My favorite out of the Becca ones has got to be Opal. I absolutely love this one, and it actually shattered. I dropped it once, and I like it so much. I don't really want to get rid of it, so I tried to fix it. I really didn't do a very good job, as you can probably tell. But it's such a stunning shade. I wish they had this in like a smaller size, just like this, because I would definitely buy it again. I don't see myself buying a full size, because I have so many as is. To me, this is plenty that I would never I would never finish one of this full size. So a smaller size would be perfect. So that's gonna be Opal, and then we have the very famous Champagne Pop. And then we have two liquid ones. We've got Moonstone, which is another stunning one, and then we've got Opal. I actually was using this one yesterday. Just put it on the back of my hand, and then with a beauty blender put it on my high points of my cheeks. Absolutely stunning. So of course these ones are staying. To finish up with the samples, we've got this one by the brand Trestique. I got this at one of my Sephora boxes, and that's what it looks like. It's a bit more, not like too, like, it's not as scandalous, I guess, as, let's say, this one. This one is the Ciate one. So this one is, again, one of those boxes that I got from Sephora, and they send this over. It's a very, very pretty one, and it's very intense, kind of like, probably as intense as this ones, which are the Hourglass. Look at how pretty that is. That's the one. It's very, very stunning and very shimmering. So I really love all of them. So let's move on with the last 3 that I do have full size. So the first one is going to be the Essence Pure Nude. Again, one of them, that's really, really famous, especially here on YouTube. I feel like everyone was talking about it. I remember hearing from this from Kathleen Lights. She used to love this product. And I used to wear this like pretty much religiously every single day to go to work. And I still really like it. And I feel like it's a very subtle highlight that it's perfect for whenever you want to do like a no makeup face. So definitely keeping this one. I do see myself repurchasing at some point. I feel like it's starting to get a little bit drier, but for now it's still good. Then we have the last drugstore one. This one is by Wet n Wild in the shade Precious Petals. I love this shade. I swatched it right here, so I don't know if you can tell, right there on my hand. It's also not really subtle, but it kind of like, I feel like it's more wet looking. Like whenever you move your face, it just gives that beautiful glow. So it's absolutely stunning. Of course, I'm gonna be keeping. And lastly, we have my favorite highlight of life. This one is the very famous Balm's Mary Luminizer. Trying to be careful because this one is also shattered. I did fix it. So this is my absolutely favorite highlight of all times. I absolutely love this. If I could pick and just have one highlight for the rest of my life, it would definitely be Mary Lou. I'm going to be keeping all of them just because my collection is very small and I really like all of the highlighters. As you can tell, nothing too drastic. Everything is going to be pretty much on the champagne golden shades, which is what I absolutely love in highlights.